And what did I say? I said that when it comes to the first part of the syllabi, we are going to get 15 marks, worst case scenario. But last day, they deviated, where they dropped 30 marks from this side. This side is very boring, brothers and sisters. Very boring, because when it comes to public sector, it is 70% theory, 30% calculation. And I said that your ability to get 22 to 25% of the calculation, you will pass. The reason being that if you're able to get between this range, getting 28 from the 70 marks, can't you do that? Can't you do that?
You can.
Okay, if you can, let's conclude issues on this chapter. That is the most voluminous chapter. So after this chapter, that is the part A. Okay, we are going to move faster because we can even use a day or two to finish what one set of topic. Right. Okay. So let's continue from where we left yesterday. We were discussing issues on what natural account segment. I told you that, Auntie Christiana, what is the code of chart of account? No one reminded me that I should share the chart of account with you. Hey, okay. Auntie Christiana, what is chart of account? What is chart of account? These are the things you are going to use for the preparation of the financial statement. So if you don't know chart of account, it will be a big issue. Auntie Christiana, what is chart of account? Okay, so can I ask a different person? Edu Portia, what is chart of account? Okay. Prof. Kodotando, Prof, what is chart of account? And now my network is not working. You guys can hear me?
Mine is working.
It's working. Oh, someone should talk to me. What is chart of account?
Chart of account is a critical element of the PFM framework, which classifies is a critical element of the PFM framework of classifying, recording, and then reporting information.
Okay. Okay. Then okay.
Can I try?
Try.
Thank you. A chart of account is a financial organizational instrument or tool that provides an index of every account in an accounting system.
Okay. So basically, when you say chart of account, chart of account is any tool that helps us to what's codified, that helps us to what's classified, okay, the element of what the financial items, okay, for reporting purposes. Okay, so yesterday we explained the element of what revenue classification. How do you classify revenue? We said that we classify revenue based on the first one is what taxes, and I said that we have indirect and what direct taxes, and which EFSAS talks about that. We said EFSAS what? EFSAS
9.
EFSAS 9. That is what? Revenue from non-exchange transaction. And we all know types of what? Direct taxes. We also know types of what? Indirect taxes. So when it comes to the preparation of what? Financial statement for central government, let me ask this question again. How many sectors or how many entities under public sector do we prepare financial statement for? How many? And name them. We prepare financial.
Three.
Three. They are
Central governments, covered entities.
Aman, please, your question again.
Fragmented entity.
Okay. My question was.
Please, Aman, your question again.
Senior, my network went off. So you mentioned my name, but I didn't get what you're saying.
Okay. So my question was, how many entities under public sector do you prepare financial statement for? And our dear sister have mentioned them. We do for central government, that is Akufo-Addo. Do you remember that the last time we were doing this, I said Akufo-Addo, and someone said, I asked central government, someone said Akufo-Addo. Do you remember? Okay. Then we also do same for the covered entity, other subvented or other covered entity. And we said that subvented entities are what? The hospitals, the transport units, name them, universities and the rest.
Universities.
Yes. And we also said that the set of accounts prepared is what? Local government. Basically, all this item feeds into what? The central government. So here, taxes are the direct taxes are the taxes being charged on what? Income. Indirect taxes are taxes charged on what? Goods and what? Services. So when you get to solving practical issues, they have the conviction that you have done what? Principles of taxes. So you being able to walk through principles of taxes, then it presupposes that you know all types of taxes. But mind you, we have a strategy, whether you know types of tax or you don't know, you have a strategy that will help you to walk through the calculation. Exactly, basically. So then the next one is what? Donor grants. And we said that we have two types of donor grants. They are
multilateral and bilateral.
Okay, we have the bilateral and the multi. What is the multi?
The multi.
IMF, World Bank.
Okay, so the multilateral donors are those donors from where? The established what? Institutions, the IMFs, the World Bank, and the rest. But the bilateral is what? From what? Sovereign what? Country. So like from US. So we will solve a nice question, calculation, where the question says that a part of the donor is coming from a bilateral and the other part is coming from what? Multilateral. Exactly, basically. So the next one is also a form of what? Revenue for government of what? Ghana. The next one is what? Other revenue. What is other revenue? Other revenue are all the revenues received from where? The subvented entity and the local what? Government. So we call it what? ESAS 23. What is ESAS 23? What is ESAS 23?
Revenue from non-exchange.
Okay, revenue from
non-exchange transactions.
Oh. Revenue from non-exchange transactions. And what was the first one? How confusing is here? The 9 is what?
No, the 9 is
exchange transactions.
The 9 is non-exchange. The 23 is exchange.
Brother.
Okay.
Taxes are non-exchange.
So basically, the exchange ones are the things you do, you get what something in return. So these are some of the other expenses. And what are some of the other expenses? Rents, royalties, and what that basically. So the last one we will talk about, we call it notional revenue. And what is notional revenue? These are the revenues, okay, being sent. It's an inflow, additional inflow, okay, being allocated to this statutory what funds, the subvented entity, the local people, and the rest. So when you get to the calculation of what local government, you see decentralized transfer. You get it? You see decentralized transfer. Juliana, your hand is up. Any question? Okay. So, and the notional transfer.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, please, can you take the notional transfer and revenue again?
Notional revenues are the revenues sent from government of Ghana to the local government, to the subvented institutions, to help them achieve their said revenue objective. So when it comes to local government, we have something called decentralized transfer. And this, government of Ghana is supposed to transfer 5% minimum to 7.5% maximum of their tax revenue. The word is tax revenue. To the local people as what? Decentralized transfer. They have get fund. All this money is being transferred are notional revenues. Is that clear? Is that clear? This one,
Yes,
we know types of what? Taxes. All income tax are direct taxes. Penalties on what? That are also taxes. Grant is grant, whether from multilateral or what bilateral. Other revenues are the road tolls, the licenses, the fees, the penalties, the fines, and what? All of them. Exactly. These are some of the examples of what the revenues that what we have. Okay. After that, let's also walk through how we classify expenditure. How do we classify expenditure? We classify expenditure based on what? 8 items. So expenditure classification. Okay. Expenditure classification. And what is expenditure classification? How do we classify expenses? We classify expenses under 8 categories. The first one, we call it compensation. So all these elements you need to know before we get to the calculation. You need to know. And what is compensation? Compensation is the salaries, listen carefully, the salaries and allowances, okay, of public workers. So all the allowances, all the, how do you call it, salaries, anything that is being associated with what? The human resource. Do you get it? Do you get it? Very well. So basically, that is what compensation, we call it what? Compensation of what? Employees. Ezegoma. So the next one, we call it use of goods and services. These things you need to know before we start the calculation. That's why the first topic was what? Public sector financial reporting. Public sector financial what? Reporting. Is that clear? So you need to know all these issues. Very well. And what is the use of goods? Is also expenditure line. It's also an expenditure line. So here we are doing expenditure what? Classification. And what is use of goods and services? What is use of goods and services?
Consumables that we use day by day in the office. So for instance, A4 sheet.
I think goods and services is all other expenses with the exception of compensation and I think consumption of fixed assets.
Okay. Okay, a minute. Okay, I love the explanation someone just said, okay? Saying that goods and services, they are all the They are all other expenses, okay, other than the consumption of fixed assets, and all line what items that you've seen is what seen on the face of the financials. So basically, these are the administration and provision for what the goods and services we use. So when it comes to public sector, you won't see utility on the face of the financials. No, you won't see how do you call this? Consumables, purchases of stationery. You see all this. All this element is being bulked together as what goods and what services, maintenance works, repairs and maintenance, and the rest. Everything is being summed up under what goods and what services. Exactly. So goods and services are all other expenses other than compensation and all line with item expenditure. Okay. So in a typical exams, when you go in a typical exams and you see a certain expenses and you yourself, you don't know where you need to classify that expenditure. Put it under what goods and what services, irrespective. Proper classification under public sector accounting is of essence. The work will balance though, but you will lose what marks because of what improper classification. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. The next one, we call it consumption. Consumption.
That's it. That's it. Disposal. Okay. And it was cardio. Like, that's it. The cost, the depreciation.
Please, let's mute ourselves.
Okay. So when you say consumption of fixed capital in typical setting, okay, that is your depreciation or your what amortization. So depreciation or what amortization, okay, and that is what IFSAS was. IFSAS what? IFSAS 3. Is that clear? Okay, depreciation or what amortization. Depreciation or what amortization. Okay, so these are the charges, estimate charges on what? Estimate charges on what?
On fixed assets.
On fixed assets. Thank you, my brother. On fixed assets. Okay, the next one, we call it interest. We are doing what expenses. So whenever you see interest, okay, I should increase my voice. Okay. Okay, so interest. This interest, we are talking about the interest charge, the finance cost charge on what? Domestic and external what? External borrowings. So this is what interest. It comprises of the charge, the interest charge, the finance cost, or the interest charge on what? Domestic and what? External what? That. Okay. The next one, 5. I said there are 8, right? Subsidies. What is subsidies? Subsidies are what? Transfers, payment for what? To, let's say, other departments, support their what? Activities. So government of Ghana can say that he's paying, let's say, electricity bills for University of Ghana. It's a form of what? Subsidy. Right, it's a form of subsidy. So it becomes an expenditure to which people? To the government of Ghana, but to the said covered entity, it becomes what? Revenue. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, please.
The next one is grants. Have you seen that?
Please come again. Please come again.
I said subsidies. subsidies are all transfer payments, okay, to covered entity to support their activities. Let's say government of Ghana can say that he's paying electricity bill for University of Ghana. That amount becomes what? A form of what? Subsidy. Do you get it? They are taking part of their cost. Do you get it? Since they are taking part of the cost, it becomes expenditure of what? Government of Ghana. But to those people, it becomes their what? Their revenue. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear. But now we are talking about expenditure classification. So if the covered entity is receiving the money, how then does it come under expenditure again?
It doesn't come under expenditure. I said it to be a revenue. All this classification that we are doing it for central government. Mind you, we are doing it for central government.
Okay.
When it comes to local government, you won't see subsidies unless the question is trying to trick you. When it comes to subvention, you won't see subsidies. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Yes, Oman.
Grants. Have you seen that we have two types of grants here? One was under revenue. Have you seen? Donor grant. And one is here. This one is an expenditure. It's an expenditure grant. It relates to all expenses, all transfers, okay, made from government of Ghana to other entities. Listen, if government of Ghana, let's say that he's sending okay, if let's say government of Ghana try to transfer, okay, monies to, let's say, free SHS, to school feeding, to sanitation what activities, all this money is being transferred from them becomes of the form of what? Grants, okay, to augment the activity of what they said what people. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the number 7 is other expenses. What is other expenses? Other expenses is like miscellaneous. Other expenses are like so miscellaneous. If all these elements, okay, the classification, you don't know where to put these expenses under 1 to 6, supposed to be placed under what? Other expenses. So other expenses is what? Like miscellaneous. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Please,
So
can you give
basically,
another explanation to the interest?
you have what?
Can you come again with can you explain the point for the interest?
The interest is a finance charge, like you going for loan, the interest you paid on the loan. So it's a finance charge on what? The domestic and external borrowings. Domestic borrowings can be what? Treasury bills, the normal bonds. External, this one can be coming from what? IMF, World Bank. Is that clear?
Okay. Thank you.
What is it? Okay. So okay. So basically, that is how we classify what? Other expenses. Okay. It's left at 1. I said 8, right? So this one's supposed to be 8. So the 7th one will be social benefits. Social benefits. What is social benefit? Social benefit is what? All the social welfare programs. So name them. All the social welfare programs. All the social welfare programs. Okay, so all the social programs, the LEAP, the Manslock, all of them, the GIDA and the rest. If we organize such programs, the free SHS, if you organize such programs, then it becomes a social what? Benefit. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Classification of what? Assets. The next one is classification of assets. How do you classify assets? Asset classification is the same asset classification that you know. Hello, it's the same asset classification that you know. The building, we giving loans out, building, the PP, okay, the cash and cash equivalent, and the rest. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yes.
Liability classification. The last one is what? Liability classification. Liability classification. And liability classification is the same classification that you know. Name them. The reserves. Do you know reserves? Hello, do you know reserves? Provisions.
No.
You don't know reserves. So reserves are the trust monies. So government of Ghana, let's say Senate. Senate has given what? Deposit, like trust money to government of Ghana to keep. If that money is what? A liability to what? Government of Ghana, they're supposed to pay it back. Any money they hold in trust of what? Any entity. Mind, did you get it? You get it?
Okay, yes.
We have borrowings. You know borrowings. Okoji loan, they are all what? Liability. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, that is how we classify what? We classify items under what? The chart of account. Is that clear?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oman.
Yes, please.
Let me ask this question.
Ask my brother.
During this fight of COVID-19, Galamsey fight, those expenses or the money spent on Galamsey task force, will that one be classified as what?
Okay.
Under
so,
which category of expense?
Okay, so let's come here so that will help you. If that money under the expenses, is it an allowance? Do you get it? If it's an allowance, then we classify that one under compensation of employees. Is it
okay.
per diem? Is it like per diem? They go. Is it a form of TNT? If it's per diem, then it's supposed to classify under what? Goods and services. Mind you, first, all per diems were classified under compensation of employees. But based on the new chart of accounts, per diems are classified under what? Goods and services. Exactly. Is it contract appointment? If it's a contract appointment, then at first it was under compensation, but now it's under what? Goods and services. So how do you classify the monies? Is it contract appointment? Is it an allowance? Is it like per diem? Then I can do the classification for you. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
So if no questions, we have closed the chapter on what? Chart of account. Let's discuss the next issue. We call it Treasury single account. Who is a cashier here at the public space? Who is a cashier here?
Our cashiers are fading out, almost out, because of the GGAV.
Okay, they are now. So they should give us a bit of what they were doing before they fading out what cash. What were they doing?
Aman.
Yes, please.
We are here.
I think it's already late. Can you say by this time? No, let me tell them.
Oh, talk to me. Are you talking to me? Oh, is a person just having?
You guys should please mute, please.
I've asked a question. So those workplaces, how did you guys treat the cash received at your end, public sector? How do you treat it? Yeah, I'm not working at the public space. So how do you treat that?
Hello.
Talk to me, senior.
We used to
collect the cash at cash points, issue receipts to the payee for whatever services rendered or whatever charges the person is paying. And by the close of the day, you go and bank the money so received.
Okay. Okay. So our brother has
And
given
if
us
it is also, if it's also about maybe remittances to staff, they write a check in the name of the cashier if it's within his threshold, or his boss, that is the director of finance, if it's above his threshold, then the director of finance will endorse at the bank. After the introduction of the cashier to the bank, because the bank should know him or her, so that when he goes, he will be allowed to cash the amount though above his or her threshold, come and then do a schedule for the disbursement. So the beneficiaries will sign and take their respective amounts and go away.
Who is talking? Is that Baba?
Yes,
Baba.
please.
Okay,
Yes,
Baba.
please.
You need to employ me so that I'll come and work under you. Okay.
That was then or not now?
Not now. Okay, I wanted to be a cashier, so that was then. Then let's delete that.
Yes,
part.
and for now, what we do at Tamale Technical University, we get almost all staff who take benefits within. And even without like book and research, we have a database that capture almost every senior member, because there are those who are doing the nyafu. So what we do is that we have their database, that's the bank details, bank name. As for the account name is the staff name, then the bank branch, and then account number. Then we write an order, that's a check, a letter to our bankers, furnishing them the details of the amounts to each and every staff with their banking details. So, and our bankers will pay them straight into their accounts.
Okay, Baba, thank you very much for the insight. So let's start this way. Treasury single account. The word is what? Single. Okay, Treasury single account. Treasury single account is what? A cash management system of what? Government. Treasury single account is what? A cash management of what? Government. And what is the purpose of what? Government getting what? A cash management what system? The Treasury single account serves as what? A unifier. Right? It serves as what? A unifier. Okay, structure of what? Government account to give a consolidated view. So it gives a consolidated view. Let me write so that I can explain. It says that structure of what? Government account. Government account to give a consolidated view. Consolidated view of government cash resources. Okay, so when you say Treasury single account, it is a cash management what system of what? Government. How government of Ghana manage what? Cash element. Do you remember that I said that the branch of activity that breeds corruption is what? Is cash. It breeds corruption because where we receive cash, corruption rate is what? Is very high. The probability that someone will just packet the cash is what? Very high. Exactly. And what is the purpose of what? Treasury single account? We having a single account. Government having what? A single account. The main reason government having a single account is that it's supposed to give a unified what structure, like a harmony, like a one structure, whereby it will give an overview. It will give us what? An overview of all cash received on what? On a daily basis for government of what? Ghana. So all cash received, whether from, name them, the public institutions, okay, same supposed to be banked or same supposed to be deposited, okay, into this account, so that you will see a consolidated view of what? Government what? Cash resources. Is that clear? Is that clear? It gives a control over, the word is aggregated control over. It gives an effective aggregated control over government cash balances. So here, this account is supposed to be with who? This account is supposed to be where? Supposed to be where?
Bank of Ghana.
Bank of Ghana.
Supposed to be with Bank of Ghana. So on a daily basis, Bank of Ghana will know the cash balances of what? The consolidated what? Cash element. Is that clear? Very well. And when it comes to Ghana, they operate two models. They operate two what? Models. I don't know the one you guys are operating, but when I'm done with the explanation, you will tell me the one you are operating with.
The second point again.
The second point, I said that it gives an aggregated control over cash balances. It gives an aggregated control over cash balances. Are you okay now?
Thank you.
Come again?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's discuss the models of what? The Treasury single account. CSA. Okay, models. We have two models. Okay, we need to choose from. We have two models. You need to choose. The first one is the main account. Okay, TCA, TSA, and associates. Let me write or then we explain. I hope it's fair. Associated ledger. Okay. Subsection. Are maintained, are to be maintained. Maintained in a single banking institution. The next one, when I'm going to explain all, so don't worry. He says that, oh, I think, let me share a screen. Let me share a screen so that will be fast. Let me share the ICAG screen, so that will be fast. That is I hope if you are asked to state the model, it will be a suicidal because it's very lengthy. Is that clear? Okay. So let's do that one. Let me share a screen so that I will explain from there. Okay. Okay, so this is the model. Okay, the first one is the main Treasury single account and associated ledger sub accounts where they exist. Okay, where they exist. Okay, where they exist. Please a minute. Okay, so basically, the main Treasury single account, where they exist, are to be maintained in a single banking institution. The second one says that the main Treasury single account is maintained in a single banking institution, and associated zero balances that where exist are maintained in other institutions from where balances are swept daily into the main that through the central bank and the appointed main host financial institutions models are operated currently. So this is what the second one is, the one they are operating. Let me explain the second one before I do the first one. The second one is that if now, as Baba was explaining, if this Treasury single account sent with what Bank of Ghana, so when you do deposit, let's say you have opened an account with, let's say, Prudential Bank, GCB Bank, name them Fidelity Bank. You are a covered entity, but you have banks with these people. If you deposit cash into that said amount, all the money is supposed to be what? To be direct or to be swept into what? The Treasury single account. Direct. Are you getting it? Hello, are you getting it? The covered entities having banks, okay, operating with. The banks are, let's say, Fidelity, Prudential, and the rest. When cash is being deposited into the Fidelity account at gross, all the money will automatically what? Be swept into the Treasury single account at Bank of Ghana. Is that clear? When it's done, then I don't know, at first they have a certain percentage that's supposed to be maintained in the account for their day-to-day operations. So when the amount is being sent to the Treasury single account, the main account at Bank of Ghana, then Bank of Ghana will charge the said percentage and send the said percentage back to the account to be used for operations. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
No, please
Yes.
come again.
No,
it's not clear. Please come again. Yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is, let me write. Let me share screen and write. So I'm coming in. My writing part is gone. Okay. Let me use this to explain whether you get it. Okay, so this is the second point. This is Kumasi Polytechnic, right? Kumasi Polytechnic has banks with Zenith Bank, okay, GCB Bank. Is that clear? Is that clear? And they have an account, main account. This is for Government of Ghana to give a unified version of the said account. So this is with BOG. If I'm a student, I'm a student, okay, I take cash. When the cash office of Kumasi Polytechnic takes, let's say, receipts, fees from me, cash from me, they're supposed to deposit the money here. Upon depositing the money here, okay, upon depositing the money at Zenith Bank, the money is supposed to be automatically swept into the Treasury single account at BOG automatically. Exactly. When it's being sent there, they have a threshold, a percentage that they will use for their expenses. So BOG, after automatically sweeping all the cash deposits on a daily basis here, they're supposed to send an amount back to the account, okay, with a certain percentage. I don't know the percentage. And that percentage will be used for the operation of Kumasi Poly. Is that clear? The same thing will happen to this bank. If they do, it will also deposit, it will come here, then amount will go back. Is that clear?
Yes.
Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes, please, it's clear.
Okay, that is what currently they are using. So those working at the public sector, what is the percentage of the amount they will retain?
Hello. May I ask a question?
Ask a question.
Please, what is it? The cash officer will send it to to the Zenith Bank, and Zenith Bank will send it to Bank of Ghana. And is it that the percentage that they retain, is it the entities which is going to use it for its expenses?
Yes, the entity
is the bank.
It's the entity, not the bank. The entity. The bank is just an intermediary.
Okay.
And first,
thank you.
The school doesn't take the cash from the students. The account details of the school will be with the bank. The student only goes there and say what you want to pay, whether school fees, attestation for certificate, or you are purchasing the form, that is sale of form. Then they'll give you the appropriate account number and the necessary details for you to fill and deposit the money there.
Okay, and the first one, let me explain the first one.
And again, to add some information, most covered entities are still battling with this arrangement that the Treasury single account. Why? Because they cannot get a clear-cut definition of what IGF is. Because when they first made the attempt with the technical universities, with my director of finance putting his assertion across, and they saw raising, all students pay is not called IGF. For instance, you get SRC component in it. You get, which is a commitment. You get medical examination commitment on it. You get certification and verification by what we call it, NAPTEX. So there are commitments in them. So the whole amount they see as school fees paid, the government was perceiving it as entirely IGF. And we have part-time tuition, part-time math script allowances, project work supervision, industrial attachment. All these are commitments that students pay. So government is just to come out clearly with what constitutes the IGF for the technical institutions so that they can follow this procedure appropriately.
Baba, thank you for the insight. Thank you very much. So let's move on. So that is what currently they are operating. I don't know the percentage that's supposed to be maintained. But the first one is very simple. The first one is that there's supposed to be a main treasury account at what? BOG. Then they're supposed to also have what? Associated what? Ledger. That is, they're supposed to also have, let's say, open account with, let's say, Zenith Bank, Prudential Bank. Name them. Okay, name them. So they're supposed to maintain the treasury single account. Then they also maintain what? A single banking what? Institution. So they're supposed to also have what? A bank. Open account with what? A bank. Exactly. So this one, the first one, okay, the first one, oh, someone said I should share my screen. Is my screen not shared?
It's shared.
Okay, so the first one is supposed to have the main treasury account, then associated what? Banks to operate with. That is the two methods, the two models that they are using. But currently, is the second one that's what they are operating with. Is that clear? The second method that they are operating with. If no other questions, this question always I ask, based on the explanation that we just did, what would be the benefits? Always I say that in exams, you use 3 things to answer exams question. I know. I don't know. Doesn't mean that don't write anything. And discretion. Okay, for the ICAG paper, don't go for any ICAG paper without populating the paper. Populating in a sense that don't leave any question unanswered. We have paid people.
I raised my hand, but it seems you've not called me.
Okay, I'm coming. We have paid people to write, to mark this paper. Populate Don't leave any question unanswered, whether you know or you don't know. Populate the people. Okay, please, your question.
Please, so about the Treasury single account.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask, I don't know, maybe I lost somewhere. The account at BOG, is it one account for the government workings or undertakings, or is a different account at BOG? Maybe food and agriculture, construction, road and works, blah blah blah. Or is one account that all resources recouped from the banks are sent into?
Okay, it's one single account. That is why it says Treasury single. It's one account at BOG, and it manages what? Cash system of what? Government. Have you seen the next one? It says it serves as what? A unified. So all the covered entities, all the public institutions, this account is there. So whenever monies are deposited, okay, they want to have a consolidated view. When I say consolidated, we coming together, amalgamation, intertwine, interlacing, okay? We put in all the cash being received on a daily basis, okay, from the said covered entity. So it's a one account. So like let's say you are working at a bank and you having your branches, your head office having one account, okay, to house all the other branches. Exactly. So at the end of the day, when we press, let's say, a button, we need to see that, okay, this is the balance of what government of Ghana from all the said entities. Sheila, do you get it?
Yes, please, I get it now.
So Sheila, based on this explanation,
yes,
based on this explanation, what would be the benefit of the Treasury single account? Tell me.
Oh, I think the managers can easily account for everything that happens on the accounts.
Proper accountability. What again?
Yeah. Hey.
What again?
Different person?
No, you now tell me another one.
Proper accountability.
Reliable and
yes.
accurate.
Okay, so let's walk through the benefits sharply. We shouldn't waste time here, because in exams, if you are asked based on this explanation, you are asked the meaning or the benefit of what Treasury single account. Don't duplicate effort here. Based on that, the first one says that the account allows complete and timely what information on what government cash. Sheila, do you remember that when I was saying something just now, I said that with what? A button. If government press on something, you see the timely information of the said what entity. Do you get it? You will get an information within just a close of an eye. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is it improves what appropriate what controls. And whenever controls come in place, since there is a said, okay, accounts be maintained, since there is control over money sweeping into the account of what BOG, and a portion is supposed to be sent back, okay, controls will be what appropriate. Okay, controls will be what appropriate. And it says that it provides the Minister of Finance with sufficient control over what budget. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. The next one says that it improves operational controls during what budget execution. Here lies the case. In terms of reoperating, I said that every government program or every government activity is supposed to be geared towards what? It's supposed to be geared towards what? Oh, it's supposed to be geared towards what? every government program supposed to be geared towards what?
Is the development or the improvement of the citizens?
It's supposed to be geared towards one thing.
Value for money.
Value for money.
It's supposed to be geared towards value for money. So if what we are doing, the single treasury account that they are providing, is because of what? Value for money. They want to achieve value for money. That's the main reason why they are doing this. And if value for money is being achieved, okay, it will improve on what? The operations over the said what? Active. And do you remember control, the objectives of what? Internal controls. Do you remember? Efficiency, effectiveness, and what? Transparency. Okay. The next point. The next point says that it promotes what? Efficient cash management. This one, self-explanatory. I'm not going to explain. Next one, it reduces bank fees and what? Transactional cost. How does that reduce bank fees and transactional cost? How? Don't read what is there. Tell me, how does the single treasury account reduce bank fees and transactional cost? How? Sheila. Chartered logistics, madam. Chartered supply chain, madam. Sheila. Hey, Sheila, that's what just in the network in Yana. Okay, let me mention name. Do I have Shika here? Shika?
Yes.
Okay, explain why.
Oma,
Yes, please.
it's because the government is not dealing with so many banks in its operation. Because it is using one single bank. So the bank charges will not be many as if it is using so many banks.
Okay, and what again? Who again?
And also the cost of maintaining the accounts will be reduced.
Okay. How? How does the cost of maintenance? Because they are not operating with a lot of what? Banks, right?
Because I mean, every bank account comes with a maintenance cost. So the more bank accounts you have, the more maintenance cost you pay.
Okay, so basically, since government is keeping this said what bank, government is giving this said banks, and now they are operating with, let's say, one bank, and all monies will be swept into the main bank account. The transactional fees and cost of operating will be lesser. I opened an account with GCB, and the first time it was a current account. The first day I deposited, someone transferred cash into the account, and I withdrew some of the amount. The first month, no COT, these people took almost 120 Ghana cedis.
Hey, oh man.
And it was left with 100 cedis in the account. I went there, I wrote check for the 100 cedis, and the woman said, brah, why are you taking the 100 Ghana cedis? I said, I don't have money, I'm going to use the money to eat. Why can't it be taking? Why can't it be taking COT 120 Ghana cedis a month? Hey, and the banks, you guys are rich. So I've taken all my money from that place because of the COT.
At times, I wonder what the maintenance they do to that.
But some banks even charge more than 120, depending on your transaction.
That is why I said that it's because of the transaction.
Flat rate. EcoBank is 10 cedis a month. And whether you withdraw 1 billion is 10 cedis a month. So please come to EcoBank.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I'll send you my details and you create one for me.
Don't go anywhere from this.
She has done free advert too, so you should charge him.
Consultation fee.
Free advert.
You should please open one for me, okay? GCB there, I'm out. And they gave me a big checkbook. Hey, what do I have?
Okay, I have a contribution.
Add, my brother.
And we also say that it improves the bank reconciliation and quality of fiscal data.
It improves what?
Bank reconciliation.
Oh, yes, it's there.
And quality of fiscal data.
It's there. Have you seen it? Solid point. It improves that because the reason is that we are dealing with what? A single account. So reconciliation will be what? Will be easy. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. It's very solid. Very well. Okay. And the last one is what? Lowers what? Liquidity reserves needs. Okay. It's lowers what? Liquidity reserves. Do you remember that I said profit is not cash? Everything is a fact. Okay. And we use liquidity to pay what? Loans. So in terms of liquidity, since cash is being maintained, okay, since cash is being maintained. Now, do you remember that? I don't know whether you listened to this news. They say international reserve, the is almost empty.
Hey, Danado.
Yes.
It's almost what? Empty. Okay. We thank God. Okay, we thank God. So when it comes to it lowering liquidity reserve, okay, it's about the inflows and what the outflows. Okay, the inflows and what the outflows. It makes sure that we can either maintain, okay, cash, or the inflow will be what we will try to meet the inflow what expectation. So it's basically about what the inflow, cash inflows and what outflows through the treasury, the inflows and the outflows through the treasury. Okay, what would be the general principles of what operating what that? General principles. The first one we need to talk about is that government agencies talk to me.
Yeah, I think one other good point will be, I don't know why they omitted it from the manual. It reduces the tendency of cash resource mismanagement and
cash resource mismanagement.
Yeah, appropriation, corruption, that is embezzlement, because the relationship, physical contact with cash is dramatically reduced. So the opportunity to dip your hands into the cash and do what is not right is minimized, if not eradicated.
Baba, the manual captured what you had just explained. That is what it promotes efficient cash management. Exactly. And all the points are not limited. The points you see, unless it's a rule, unless it's what a principle. If it's not a principle, benefit, importance, it's not limited, it's numerous. Outside this one, you can even tell me another point. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, unless it's a principle or it's what a rule. Exactly. When it's a challenge, how do you call it? Merit and demerit. Okay, it's unlimited. Exactly. The principles. Before you give me some challenges, the principles is that government agencies are not to operate any bank or account. This is the principle, right? They're supposed not to. So now, the second method that they are operating with, they're supposed not to operate any bank account under, what is that word? What is that word? What is that word? Hey, accountants.
Guys.
Let me catch you. So.
I see juice.
Okay. Because of where I'm coming from, I won't mention that word. So basically, the meaning of that word is that it is like a manner of what presentation, how you present the bank account, and the something coming from what outside. So you're supposed not to keep or operate any bank account outside the treasury. Okay, so the last point, oversight of the treasury, is that every bank account that you are operating, okay, you're supposed to link to the treasury. You can't keep a bank account and that bank account won't sweep all cash into what the said activity, the said main what account. Exactly. The next one is that the consolidation of what the government cash resources should be comprehensive. When it says something is comprehensive, it leads to what transparency. Exactly. The consolidation is supposed to lead to what transparency. It's supposed to compass all cash what resources. So Sheila, Have you seen that the Treasury account gives like the view, the cash view of what? All cash of what? Public sector, how do you call it? Organizations. Do you get it? Do you get it? Sheila, do you get it? So your point you asked, the second principle has what? Has just do justice.
Yes, I get it.
Then the last one is supposed to be what? A banking arrangement that should be what? Unified. Someone's supposed not to do this here. Someone's supposed not to do this here. It's supposed to be what? A unified something. Okay, it's supposed to be a unified what? Something. And who is the accountant for Ghana? The controller. Supposed to have what? A full what? Control over this said what? Activity. And when it comes to the BOG, the Minister of Finance, in terms of monetary policies, is supposed to also have what? A full coverage on what? All the banking what? Activities. So brothers and sisters, this will be the main activity or the main principles when it comes to that. Tell me one challenge. Baba, what would be one challenge of this Treasury single account? Tell me one challenge.
I think one challenge is compliance by most covered entities. Why? Because if they bank the money into the consolidated fund, getting the appropriate retention component of the money so transfer is very difficult. And at times, they rather get it at the 11th hour when the need for it is almost
okay.
over.
I want one English word that is mostly used at the public speaks when it comes to things being rigid. What again? The thing is single. So if it's single, it will lead to something.
Bureaucracy.
Exactly, that is the word. Because everything's supposed to go to Bank of Ghana before Bank of Ghana will lead what will drop it down. So it will lead to bureaucracy. And Koya and my is that clear? And Koya and my. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yes, man.
Okay, so basically that would be some of what the challenges when it comes to Treasury single what account. Brothers and sisters, questions has dropped from this area before. The last time I checked, they were asked the meaning of Treasury single account and its benefit. The last time I checked. Let me issue this before we continue. Last night I said the same thing. I told them that, have you seen the chapter review? Have you seen the ICAG manual chapter review? Have you seen that, please? Have you seen the chapter review?
Yes.
A question will drop from that place. A question will drop from that place. Make sure that you know the solutions to those questions. A question will drop from that place. I said the same thing, and a question dropped from that place. Environment dropped from that place. Public sector, the fiscal strategy dropped from that place. Mind you, let me shock you. This place, I'm talking about this place. I'm talking about this place. That is the same thing I told them. That a question will drop from that place. Here, the chapter review, a question will drop from that place. So last night, it was what? Environment and the fiscal strategy documents, and explain the items of that fiscal policy or document. A question will drop from that place. Or I'll show you where another question was also dropped whilst moving on. So let me switch in between. Then we discuss the last issue under the first chapter. Then we close. Here we. Any question? Any question? Okay.
I do.
You do?
Please, yes, you mentioned.
Then you may kiss your bride.
You mentioned the contents of the fiscal strategy document. Is it the one you mentioned, the introduction, and other stuffs? Is it that one?
Oh, the introduction is the budget statement. Exactly. I think that was the question that dropped last night, and someone dropped the question on the platform. Okay, so I'll forward it to you. Sheila,
Yo,
I'll forward it to you.
Me patron uncle for say young queen into them me why.
Fast.
Almost N2, but the probability of dropping again is very low. Okay. Sheila.
Sir, please don't send it to only Sheila. I'm also interested.
Okay, please.
Yes, please. I'm here, Oman.
Whenever a question drops at the ICAG level,
Sheila,
the probability that the question will drop again is 20/100. Exactly. The probability. Exactly. Yeah. So the probability that it will drop again is 20/100. But all the same, let's make a headway. The last issue that we need to do, we call it integrated financial. I hope this one there, those in the public space, you guys are using it. Management.
No.
Oh, you don't use it?
Yeah, we are still using ITS.
No. Oh, you are still using what?
ITS.
What is ITS? ITS is there. ITS.
Integrated system.
Ayo. Let's move on. Okay, so let's move. That is the last issue that we are doing. And a question has dropped under this area. I'll get your, have you seen that I've compiled the past questions in a nice way from 2019 November to December 2022. Please, when we are done with this, go through question number 5, what's A, or question number 5A. Please make sure that you solve all questions under that. I hope you are going to do that. I hope you are going to do that.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Please, let's start now. We shouldn't wait. Now we have 67 days more. Start now. Don't wait. Someone wanted to say something.
Question number 5A of what? Like which year?
Every year. From November 2019 to December or March 2023. All question number 5A. When we are done with this, it means that we have solved all question number 5As in the past question. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Sitting there, ask na much na go say.
One nil. City I share one.
Oh, Asimo, Asnai.
1-1.
Okay, let's move on. We have interest in that, Sheila, don't worry. So basically, please make sure you solve all these issues. Make sure. That's why I've put together all the documents. Okay, I've put together all the documents. Just that it's only the calculation where you get some few mistakes in the solution. It's only the calculation. But when you get there, I'll fix all the calculation, the mistakes there. I'll fix all of them for you. Exactly. Very well. Okay. So let's move on. What is gift mix? Gift mix also is what? A computerized, the word is computerized. Okay. Treasury single account was what? A cash management system. But gift mix is what? A computerized, okay, financial package. Exactly. Financial package. So it's like we're working in the private sector. It's like our accounting softwares that we use, the HR software that we use, the clock in and the clock out. that we use. Exactly. So the gift mix is like a computerized what? Financial package that enhance what? Transparency, effectiveness of what? Public resource management. Okay. So it's like our software that we use in terms of our we budgeting, preparing budgets, doing all sort of what activity. So basically, that is what gift mix. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Is that clear? Sheila, what I say?
Paper try.
Okay. Okay. What I say, I will be at I say. My new chartered supply chain officer. Okay. So basically, this is integrated financial management system. It is a computerized or financial package that will help us to do our budget, help us to do all our activities, whether clock in, clock out, being linked towards human resource and the rest. Is that clear? Basically. So the gift mix or the integrated financial management system, okay, has what a lot of what models. We have what models. They have what models. They have models. And when it comes to government of Ghana, okay, always put down these models to be in line with what? Government financial what? Fiscal what? Management. Government fiscal management. And what is fiscal? What is fiscal?
Between revenue and expenditure.
Okay, so basically, they will always do these models to be in line with what government fiscal what management, how they are going to manage what that. So the computer-based activity, okay, is being designed in models so that it will help us what? It will help us develop or help us what? Get a transparent accountability of what our issues. So the first model, okay, being designed is for what? Macroeconomic forecasting. Should I explain this then? Should I explain? What's a word with a penable pa? So I've been saying it. Should I explain? Huh?
Yes, please.
Oh, the macro talks about what? The macroeconomic talks about our inflation, unemployment, exchange rate, and the rest. So the model, the gift mix model is being designed to help us operate or forecast our macroeconomic factors. That's why they can do projection that, okay, next year, because it will be an election year, okay, so the dollar will come down. So I'm waiting that I'll buy all the items. I'll buy the car I want to buy in 2024. Do you get it? Because dollar will come down. They are all forecasting, exactly. So this model, okay, help us to support the preparation of the said activity. Mind you, is what is like a software. The next one is what? Budget preparation. This one there, I won't talk about it. I hope it's fair for me not talking about that one. The third one, budget execution. And also, I mean, Jim.
Okay.
So that's Jim Kakre. So budget preparation, the gift mix or the IF mix, the software will help us prepare our budget. Okay, it will help us to prepare our budget. Is that clear? Then the execution, when the budget is being prepared, we execute implementation. The software will also help us to do what? To do implementation. We matching in terms of cash management, in terms of what? Accountability. Do you get it? Because implementation moves with what? Accountability. Is that clear? So the software will help us to do what? Accountability and other issues. Sheila, is that okay? The next model is about what? HR and what? Payroll. That's why every government sector, every month, do you do validation before payment is done?
Yes.
Okay. So this software will help us to do our HR activity. Later, as well clock in. The clock is supposed to be linked to this model, to link to payroll, to link to other activities. Is that clear? The next one is IV, asset management. How to manage assets in the sales software. Debt management. They are all models under what? The gift mix. Exactly. Okay. The next one is what? Tax administration. Tax administration. So the PAYE, right? How to do the PAYEs and the rest. Is that clear? So government for the Muntia corporate income tax. And Mutia. Mutia.
No.
Why? Why don't you pay corporate income tax? What be trying to send the Usikana Ucha Maminamo?
Government cannot pay tax to
Why is the reason why they don't pay? I said corporate income tax. Why?
They are not set up to make profits. So
okay, Baba. Thank you very much, because this one is charged on profit. Yeah. Thank you. And you're not making profit. I'll send your money back to you, okay? Okay.
Give me that as donation to you.
Come again.
I said I remit it back to you as donation.
Okay, God bless you, Baba. So let's move on.
Bless you too.
Okay. Silane answer I don't talk about. Okay, so basically, this is some of the models. And the last one is what? Auditing. Auditing is what? A form of what? Scrutiny, right? Okay, you said you purchased this. The system is supposed to also help us to do what? Audit. So those working at the Ghana Audit Service, those working at the Ghana Audit Service, do you have a software that helps you to do your audit? And obey any more Ghana auditor. Okay, I think no one is. Okay, then I'll come back to the next point, but let's walk through the rationale for the gift mix. What is the rationale? For this has dropped in exams before. Okay, they asked them the rationale. So the word is, so Baba, what is the meaning of rationale?
That is the main reason behind the implementation of an intervention.
Okay.
Or one would say the objective or the purpose for which an intervention is put in place.
Okay, very well. So the brain behind. Okay, someone is saying, what about accounting and reporting? Yes, the accounting and reporting forms part of what? The execution. Exactly. It forms part of the execution. That's why budget cycle, most of the books will add it to what? Execution and reporting. Someone who's harder, execution and reporting. So when you implement that, you're supposed to also check what? That. Exactly. Very well. So that management accounting and the fiscal reporting is part of what? The budget execution. The person who asked that question.
I think monitoring is also infused there.
Monitoring is also infused in a bit, but monitoring can be fixed here.
That is HR. Internal monitoring.
Yeah. It can be fixed here, HR. Managing the size of what? Monitoring can be fixed here, HR.
What I mean, the execution of probably projects, programs, and activities. That is the monitoring.
Okay. So let's talk about the rationale. Then I'll come back to the overview of what? The financial management system in Ghana. We are saying that government of Ghana, if we're trying to, I'm giving an overview, if we're trying to manage our finances, manage our revenue, manage how to collect revenue, how to manage that, it has been a major problem. It has been a major canker when it comes to all these issues. Why? Because these offices, when being put in place in terms of what the public finances, they will what? They will giving us feedback. Okay. They will try to, I say that accountants are from God. They will try to use the money, okay, for other activities, misapplication, corruption, okay. So the weakness of the financial management system, okay, is very bad. And since all these issues, okay, upon all this background, then we need to introduce a system or a software that will help us create a proper accountability. Create a proper accountability. So based on this overview, the rationale behind, the brain behind government of Ghana getting the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System is because of the weakness in how we manage our expenditure, control over expenditure. If it is manually done, people will balance issues for you. Is that clear? So what is the rationale? The rationale of this is being classified under 6 elements. It's being classified under 6 elements. The first one is budget preparation. Budget preparation. The rationale is that we need to get a software, integrated software, so that we can prepare budgets. 2, budget execution. How budget will be implemented through they said that. The next one is accounting and financial reporting. The next one is cash management. How we manage cash. 5 is asset management. Then the last one is human resource and payroll management. So basically, rather than this, the main reason why this software or this information system was introduced was based on this element. Was based on this element. Is that clear? It was based on this element. Was based on this element. So my question is, this software was created to bridge a certain challenge. What were some of the problems? Those working in the public space, what were some of the problems before the introduction of gift mix? What were some of the problems? Tell me. What were some of the problems?
With regards to budget preparation, it takes a longer time to get the budget in place.
Okay.
So again? This intervention, it reduces the tax base and the fatigue involved, and even the cost involved in the budget preparation.
Okay. Who again?
Difficult in comparing data.
Difficult in comparing data.
Yes.
Can't we see lack of the data being produced won't be reliable because it's manual. Anything can happen.
Yes.
Mm.
And everybody is classifying their expenditures and revenue in a
Exactly.
different way.
Exactly. So
So
poor records keeping. So these are some of the these are some of the reasons, or these are some of the issues that GIFMIS came to solve. Listen carefully. In exams, the examiner can give you a nice case study, Then, under that, he will tell you requirements. Based on this said problem of the GIFMIS, in inception of what, or in the introduction of GIFMIS, what was some of the problem GIFMIS came to solve? These are the elements you need to what? You need to state. Is that clear? Is that clear?
All right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. When you look through the ICAG manual, they have classified these elements, how it works, the models, how the model works, okay, how it operates. Please read around that, please. The next item I will discuss is what? The key users of what? The GIFMIS. The key users of the GIFMIS. Please, if I say read, that place, I think I will get a question around that place and send it to you. GIFMIS. GIFMIS. Okay, what are the users of GIFMIS? Without even, that's why I say that some of the questions, you can even use your discretion to write. So with this, you can even tell me one user of what? GIFMIS. If you are not even working at the that corner, you can even tell me one of the users of GIFMIS.
Accountants.
Accountants. Okay.
Creditors.
Okay.
HR managers.
Okay. Internal audit.
Budget analyst.
Okay. Name them.
The government through the Ministry of Finance.
The government through the Ministry of Finance. So government for any
budget analyst.
That is the central government.
Central government.
Principal spending officer.
Okay, principal spending officers. And who is the principal spending officer?
The directors, the chief director, the directors, rather.
Okay, so who is the principal account holder?
The ministers.
The CEOs.
The minister of the.
Those are the principal spending officers.
When I can my movie.
A friend team.
Principal account holders and principal. HR. Okay, so basically, yes, basically, this is how the GIFMIS, the users of what? GIFMIS, exactly. Users of GIFMIS.
Budget officers.
Yes, budget officers. Name them, it's endless. Name them. Yes. The administrators, the procurement officers, the stores officers, budget officers, all the officers. Yes. Then the last, I'm going to talk about the challenge, then we close. Okay, for benefit of GIFMIS, I won't talk about it. The reason I won't talk about benefit of GIFMIS is that you can even tell me 10 benefits of GIFMIS. It's like you telling me importance of ICT. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. It will reduce what? Manual processes. It improves accountability. So these things you can use. Sheila.
Yes, boss.
So the IT you are using at your office, what are some of the importance? So if you are asked the benefit of GIFMIS, basically, no click importance of ICT.
Efficiency and
exactly. And why I'll end with the challenge, but they have the implementation process. Okay, the implementation phase. Read that one too. It's like a technical, it's how the software is supposed to be. A system setup, system rollout, then the system security. Okay. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear? The implementation of, let me write that one. GIFMIX implementation. GIFMIX implementation. It has 3 phases. Okay. Implementation has 3 phases. The first phase is what? System setup. How to set the system up. What? Up. The second one is what? When you set it up, you set it what? Rolling. Then the last issue is that you need to get what? System security. Security can be password, maintenance, that is the software maintenance and the rest. The things that can destroy what? The software, and sustainability. That's the last phase, and sustainability. So that is what the implementation of what? The GIFMIX. Is that clear? Is that clear? The first one is what? You set it up, you roll it, then you maintain it.
Hello.
Talk to me.
Boss, please, I can't see your screen very well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Then please go out and come in. I think there's an issue.
I think go out and come in again, okay? It's loud and clear.
No, not the volume. I'm talking about the screen.
Yeah.
The latter part, I cannot see it very well. I'm using my...
System securities, maintenance and sustainability.
System security, maintenance and sustainability. Are you okay now?
From your place.
Okay.
Are you okay now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we have talked about the benefits.
What is the two? System what?
Rollout.
My is because I have access to the videos. I don't know videos.
Rollout. From now going, I will take my time and write. Don't worry, I'll take my time. System rollout. Are you okay now? Are you okay now?
Please, are you saving the
Come again.
Please, are you saving?
Someone is disturbing us, so I can't hear what you're saying. I mean, me too. Yeah. Shall I unmute and talk to me?
Yeah, please, I'm asking. So are you saving the Word document?
The Word document. This thing is saving. It's saving.
It's saving.
Yes.
But you didn't post it on the thread the other time.
I don't know. Let's finish it, then talk to me. I don't know the one you sent on the platform. I don't know if it is the same app I'm using. It's really safe though.
It's the same.
Do you know the app I'm using?
I'm using. Oh yes, I know. It's the same.
Yeah.
But Omar, I thought you shared the previous one.
That one.
No, screenshot. But this one is good. You can just print it and just go through.
But Madam Mate, IT head of IT.
Why don't you do how do you do Teams viewer so that she will direct you or she will even control your screen?
Don't worry, I'll call her so that she will help me. This 2023, we don't stress. Okay, it's about consultation and growth. You don't stress your head. You consult, then you move on. So let's move on. We have talked about the benefit of what GIFMIX. If a question is dropping around GIFMIX issues, it won't be of any challenge. Okay, last issue. Since it's having benefit, it will have challenge. Let's discuss the challenge. Then we close the chapter on this volume document. Challenge of GIFMIX. Who can tell me one challenge without even we going through the ICAG manual?
Technical challenge.
What is technical challenge?
Cost of implementation.
Cost of implementation.
Cost of training personnel.
So now, are you telling me the point or you are explaining? Which is which? Someone said technical challenge. So technical challenge, I've written that one.
That will be network problem.
Network.
Okay. Okay, so let's expand the technical problem or challenge. It is the same thing. That is the challenge that faces what? The interface of what? the gift mix. Whether, let's say, you remember that when I was writing, my tablet wasn't coming. My tablet wasn't operating. So technical challenge can be, it can span around a basic system what functionality. If the system does not function, you go to EcoBank, and EcoBank will tell you that their system is down. But I mean, can be that their system is down. No, EcoBank. That is Pan-African Bank. That's my bank. I have two banks, Zenith Bank and EcoBank.
Hey, then you are rich, you.
There were two banks, EcoBank and with this one, so for even a BMA, when I was in Poly, the EcoBank, the Zenith Bank, and the EcoBank too. When I had my first job after SHS, and I opened it, as it stands now. So, I'm even sitting on time bomb. You just let me write my account number and send money to the account and see whether it will go. It won't go. It will bounce back due to technical challenge. Okay. So basically, that is technical challenge. The thing that faces like if there is functional issues. What again? What again?
Inadequate support from the central government.
Inadequate support from the central government. Let's talk about this one. This is very important before you move on. What's the human resource challenge? Baba?
Yes, please.
Explain human resource challenge.
With that one, most of the covered entities don't have the required personnel. But if we go specific in terms of accounting, to manage the software, what do you call it, the system.
Okay.
I think right from the time they wanted to do the pilot basis, the number of chartered accountants in covered entities, more especially
okay, so Baba is off. That is the basic explanation. Here, they don't have the IT know-how. Okay, because they have been using the manual, so it becomes a challenge, human resource challenge. They don't have the capacity, the human resource capacity requirement that can be built to go through this this gift mix system. Yeah. Being human beings, we face with a lot of like IT challenges. Exactly. Very well. The next one, we call it political challenge. Is someone talking to me? Political challenge. Political challenge. Okay. So when you say political challenge, right? Political challenge is that this political people, okay, they will have the view that if we implement gift mix in the said entities, it is complex. And since it's complex, it is also risky. And it's also resource intensive project. So politically, you will say that, okay, we shouldn't we shouldn't take upon ourselves to implement gift mix because it's capital intensive project. It's also risky, it's complex because the people using it, then the people using it will say that, okay, we shouldn't use this one. And when it's change of management or when it's change of government, they can also neglect the gift mix and go and bring another item like free SHS. Progressively free. Is that clear? So it becomes a political challenge. Hello, brothers and sisters. They can, when there is a change of management, they can say that, okay, let's neglect gift mix and let's do our thing. Because it's capital intensive and we have also pumped money into this thing. If they neglect it based on political issues, it becomes a big challenge. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I want to expatiate on this. The training requires the operators to have at least a very working and reliably connected network on a laptop. And for instance, our institution, if they are to go for the training, we cannot less than maybe 15 laptops. And management is still battling with acquisition of the laptops for the training.
Okay, but that's also a good point, because it's also, it houses the capital what intensiveness. The last one is what? Institutional what? Challenge. Institutional what? Challenge. Okay, so under this, if institutions wants to establish, or if institutions wants to implement what their gift mix, okay, they're supposed to discuss, or they're supposed to make sure that they implement, or they roll out, or they try to break down areas of the said institution that will support the implementation of the gift mix. So here, there's supposed to be what? Legal framework. Because you remember that when we're doing the differences between, if you can recall, the differences between public sector and private sector, they said that public sector has what? A vast what? Compliance. They have a vast what? Compliance. And when it comes to private sector, they are limited in what? Compliance. In a sense that if an institution wants to implement this, they're supposed to have all these areas being checked before they do. If all these areas are not being checked, then it becomes what? An institutional challenge to implement government. Exactly. Legal framework. What are some of the theories, legal theories, that underpins the usage of the, how do you call it? The gift mix? Is that clear? What are some of the concepts? What are some of the concepts that underpins, that moves around, okay, the gift mix? Because the gift mix is supposed to come with what? A certain legal framework. Otherwise, accountants will do anything. The next one is what? Business operation. Business processes. Okay, there's supposed to be a certain procedure, because this is for the institution. There's supposed to be a procedure, right? Structures, okay, for the use of what? This gift mix. There's supposed to be a common adaptation of a process. What are we doing? Is it DVLA? DVLA, what is our business process? If the business process starts from this, if you are implementing this, we're supposed to make sure that we get structures that will augment what? The use of what? That if the structures are not there to support the business process, it will become a challenge to the institution to implement what? Gift mix. Is that clear? Is that clear? The next one, they call it budgets and account structure. It's the same as we're talking about account structure. We're getting how the accountability process, how all issues, how all, how do you put it? The implementation being put in place, okay? What will be the structures that will help us do what? Account for the said activities, and supposed to link, whenever you hear account, it's supposed to link towards the chart of what? Accounts. It's supposed to feed towards the chart of what? Account. The last one will be, since it's an institution, the last one will be what? Centralized what? Treasury operation. And I'll talk about that. Centralized treasury. Because it's an institution, that's why we're talking about all these issues. We need to make sure that all these things are being implemented before you start. Okay. Centralized, that is Treasury single account is supposed to also link to the Treasury single account. The system is supposed to be feed so that all monies being received, accounted for, can be feed into what? That operations, our single Treasury account. This one's supposed to feed what? The chart of account. This one's are what? Procedures. Because business process. This one is laws. If all this is not in place, then it's what? A deficient to what? The institution. We can't implement what that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. My name is James Patrick Oseko. For my friends, call me Mampeni. Without any question, I sign out. Any other issue? Hello, any other issue? Thank you very much for not having any question. So Monday, let's take this announcement. Monday, 6 a.m. Monday is holiday. Monday is holiday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. We are starting a new topic. Okay, and we are doing question number 5A, B, and question number 1, B. You are going to get 15 marks also from that place. And what is question number 5B? Who can tell me? What is question number 5B? What is question number 5B?
Conceptual framework.
What is question number 1B?
1B.
1B is what? Hmm. 1B2 is conceptual framework. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm taking a snapshot of the, oh, Yasha's now too, Jesus. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I want them to take the trophy.
Oh man, I said,